also may know this as copy the first term, dot, or write your multiplication sign, and flip the second term. So you are going to divide a fraction by multiplying by its reciprocal. An example of this would be if you had 7 divided by 4 divided by 1/2. You would need to take 7 divided by 4 times. So I copied the first expression, changed it to times, and I'm going to flip my second expression. So 2/1. You can now do cross-reducing like we did in our multiplication examples and multiply straight across the top and bottom, so 7/2. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples that are actually dividing rational expressions. You need to follow the same procedures as your multiplication. So first, you need to simplify stuff. Then you need to do your copy dot flip. Or you can do your copy dot flip first and then simplify so that you don't forget. So maybe we'll do it that way. So I am going to copy my first term, change it to multiplication, and I need to take the reciprocal of my second term. So 8y to the 5th divided by 15. Now I'm going to go through and simplify or combine like terms. So I can cancel the 8s because those 8s are the same and they'd both reduce to be a 1. For my 5 and 15, my 5 can become a 1, my 15 can become a 3. I can combine some like terms, but I'm going to go ahead and multiply first just so that it's a little bit neater. So if I multiply straight across the top, I've got x to the 4th, y to the 5th. For my denominator, I've got x squared, y to the 2nd, and I've got a 3 down there too. To combine your like terms, your x's can be subtracted. So we've got x to the 2nd in the numerator. We've got y to the 3rd in the numerator when we subtract, and you still have a 3 hanging out on the bottom in your denominator. For our next example, go ahead and copy dot flip first. So we're going to copy the first expression. So x to the 4th minus 9x squared all over x squared minus 4x plus 3. We're going to change it to multiplication, and we are going to flip the second term. So I've got x squared minus 16 is now my numerator, and I've got x to the 4th plus 2x cubed minus 8x squared is now the denominator. We need to factor each of these expressions completely. So let's go ahead and factor them one at a time. In our first problem, we can factor out an x squared, and we are left with an x squared minus 9. For our denominator, we're not done with that one. We'll come back to it though. For our denominator, if I factor, I would have an x and an x, a 3 and a 1. We would have a negative 3 and a negative 1. We've got dots going on in our second numerator, so x plus 4, x minus 4. And for our denominator, we need to get a GCF out of this one first. So my GCF at this time would be an x squared. That would leave me with an x squared plus 2x minus 8. So we've got a couple things that we need to factor again. One being the x squared minus 9, and then we need to look at the x squared plus 2x minus 8. So I'm going to go ahead and factor again. So x squared, my x squared minus 9 would be x plus 3, x minus 3. And I've got x minus 3, x minus 1. My second equation, my numerator was factored all the way. And for my denominator, the x squared is still hanging out, but I'm going to factor the trinomial into two binomials. So x times x gives me the x squared. I'm now thinking what multiplies to give us the 8 and combines to give us 2x. So that would be a 4 times 2. We need a negative 4 and a positive 2. Oh, nope, I've got that backwards. A positive 4 and a negative 2 would give you a positive 2x when you add and multiply to be a negative 8. We can now go ahead and do reducing. So anything in the numerators, either numerator, can reduce with anything that is exactly the same in the denominators. So I've got 1x minus 3, so I can cancel 1x minus 3 in the bottom. I've got an x plus 4 in the numerator and an x plus 4 in the denominator. And I've got an x squared and an x squared that I can also cancel. So now we can multiply and write what's left, leave them as factors. So x plus 3 times x minus 4 divided by x minus 1, x minus 2. You do not need to multiply these expressions out. Please leave them as factored in the factored form because we'll be using them in a future lesson. I want you to go ahead and hit pause, and I would like you to attempt copy dot flipping and simplifying numbers 3 and 4, please. You may rejoin me once you've attempted each of those problems. All right, we're going to go ahead and change number 3 to copy dot flip. Copy dot flip. Okay, and now we can simplify if we want to. So I'm going to simplify this 4 and 12 to be a 1 and a 3. And I'm going to write what I've got so that I stay on track. 3x squared y squared would be in my numerators when I multiply, and I would have an x to the 4th y in my denominators. So now 3 is still in your numerator, combining your like terms with your x's by subtracting. You have an x squared left on the bottom and a y to the 1st on top. For number 4, we've got a lot of factoring to do here, and you've got some tricky trinomials, so make sure you take a look back at yesterday's review on tricky trinomials. Our numerator factors into 2x plus 1, x minus 4. Our denominator is dots, so x plus 3, x minus 3. We need to change it to multiplication, and we need to flip our second fraction. I'm going to go ahead and factor a 4 out of the 8x squared minus 28x plus 12. That leaves me with a 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. My denominator, or my new denominator, is dots, so 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. And I'm not quite ready to slash or cancel anything out yet. First, I need to factor everything completely. I've got 2x plus 1, x minus 4, x plus 3, x minus 3, and I need to factor the trinomial in my second numerator. So that is also a tricky try. So 2x and x, we've got a minus 1 and a minus 3, divided by 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. We can go ahead and cancel anything in the numerator with anything in the denominator. So my 2x plus 1's canceled. I've got an x minus 3 and an x minus 3 here that canceled. And I've got another 2x minus 1, so I can cancel that with a 2x minus 1. And I need to write what's left. So I've got a 4 left in my numerator. I've got an x minus 4 left in my numerator. And in my denominator, I've got x plus 3 left. You have now finished your lesson for day 1 on multiplying and dividing. You need to complete the day 1 homework for Monday. That will be due on Monday.